I discovered something shocking and fascinating. A link between the ancient 1,000-year-old Fibonacci sequence and the US elections starting from Obama in 2012. You don't want to miss this. Stick around. Now, how I discovered this, I was tinkering and toying and looking at the monthly chart on Bitcoin, and I marked out all the previous elections during Bitcoin's run. You know, the 2012 Obama victory, I marked that on the chart, November 2012. Then I marked Trump's 2016 victory, and I did the same for the Biden 2020 victory, and now we are on the precipice of a 2024 Trump election victory. And my question that I asked myself was very simple. What happens after a US election, on Bitcoin specifically? Now, there are a couple of key things that jumped out at me immediately. Now, we can see that after the Obama election in 2012, Bitcoin was approaching these all-time high levels, very similar to where we are now, and shot to the upside. During the 2016 Trump election, we saw Bitcoin repeating the exact same pattern, challenging the previous all-time high and shooting to the upside. During the 2020 Biden election, we saw something similar happen. We approached those all-time high, battled the previous all-time highs, and shot to the upside. And lo and behold, during the 2024 Trump election, we are yet again challenging that previous all-time high. And if patterns repeat and history repeats, we can expect Bitcoin to shoot again to the upside. But I went a step further and I told myself, well, looking at this pattern in the chart, we can clearly see a diminishing returns coming into the market. For example, if we measure the move from the Obama election to the blow off top we saw roughly an 11,000% increase. Now, if we look at the Trump election in 2016, we saw an increase of roughly 2,700%. And during Biden's election, we saw an increase of roughly 400%. So the diminishing returns is something that I immediately picked up. Not only are the market patterns very similar, with us challenging those all-time highs with the US election and shooting to the upside, but we are also seeing slower returns and lower returns in Bitcoin. As Bitcoin is growing, we see these diminishing returns. So I thought, well, that's a fascinating discovery. What if I take the percentage differences and calculate the differential between the two? And I found something amazing yet again. Now, if we look at the pump during the Obama era, we saw a 11,300% increase. And during Trump's 2016 era, we saw a 2,700% increase. Now, if we divide 2,700 odd into 11,000, we get a factor of roughly 4.1. Now, if we do the same for the Biden era of 2020, and we divide the 400 odd percent into the 2,700 odd percent, we get a factor of diminishing returns by roughly 6.2 rather. Now, what's interesting is then if we were to repeat this cycle, we can take the difference between these two numbers, add them together, and we can then calculate and speculate on a diminishing returns number, taking the previous bull runs percentage gain into account. Hey, hope you're enjoying the content so far. Please remember to hit the like button and the subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications. So if you take the difference between 6 and roughly 4 and you add those together to the 6, you get 8.4. Now, if you take 8.4 and you divide that by 439, you get a shocking number. You get roughly 52% increase from where the 2024 Trump US election starts. So I took that 52% and I plotted it on the chart, and I said, well, if that is the case and we increased by 52% from this breakout candles we have now, the start of this month, we get to a number of roughly about $104,000. Well, I thought, well, that is extremely interesting. Let me go a step further. So I went to my Fibonacci tools and I pulled up the percentage gains using the Fibonacci extensions to see how far did we extend into these Fibonacci extension levels during our previous cycles, and can we see a similar pattern of diminishing returns. And lo and behold, if we pull up our Fibonacci retracements from pivot highs to pivot lows, I started seeing another pattern. we started moving into our Fibonacci sequences and reached a peak at roughly the 2.272 Fibonacci extension during the 2012 bull run post-Obama. And then I did the same thing during the 2016 Trump election, and I pulled a Fibonacci from the previous top to bottom, and we saw yet again an extension into the 2.272 Fibonacci sequence. And I thought, well, that is fascinating. 2 out of 2. I wonder if it will hold true for the 2020 bull run. So I pulled up the Fibonacci retracements during the 2020 bull run in Biden's era, and I saw something else happening. I started seeing that we are getting rejected at the 1.618 Fibonacci levels. So now we can see that we did not reach the 2.272 of the previous extensions. We are seeing a diminishing returns in Bitcoin. So I thought, well, this would be fascinating to pull the Fibonacci from this bull run and see what can we expect Bitcoin to reach then if we follow the same logic. So using the Fibonacci sequence, I went to the chart and I pulled the Fibonacci from the previous top to previous low. And lo and behold, the 1.272 Fibonacci extension aligns perfectly with the diminishing returns factor post-elections. Shocking. Coincidence? Maybe. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this content, hit the like button, hit the sub button, and hit the bell notifications. Also, remember to click the link in the description below to join my mailing list, where I'll be sending you free emails and trading videos, and also market report updates weekly to help you stay ahead of the herd. As always, this community would not be the same without you, and thank you from the bottom of my heart. Peace and love. See you next time.